Welcome to Read Ancient Languages. I'm Dr. Fausto Labruto. Today we travel to southern Italy, where this manuscript was written in the 12th century. This manuscript is a missal. A missal is a book with special prayers to be read during masses on particular feast days. So this is the kind of book which would be found on the altar of a church. The text is in Latin. However, as we will see, there are many features which make its interpretation pretty difficult. The most interesting aspect about this text is that it is written in a special bookhand called Beneventana. At the beginning of the 9th century, the scribes of the court of Charlemagne introduced a bookhand which we today call Carolingian. The Carolingian bookhand, which is very elegant and also very easy to read, spread around the whole of Europe and became very popular until it was replaced by the Gothic bookhand. However, in certain parts of Europe, the scribes resisted to the spread of the Carolingian bookhand and continued to practice their own form of script for centuries. The Beneventana is one such example. The Beneventana was created in the Duchy of Benevento in southern Italy, and it became famous through the hands of the monks at the abbeys of Monte Cassino and Bari, also in southern Italy. From Bari, the Beneventana bookhand makes its way to the other side of the Adriatic Sea, to the coast of modern-day Croatia. Today, we will take a closer look at the Beneventana and its peculiarities. So this is a zoomed-in image of the missal. The Beneventana bookhand is not a very easy to read writing system. Some letters look similar to others. For example, this A and this T are very similar. This S looks a lot like a modern-day F. This E is H-shaped and unfamiliar to the modern reader. The letters M, N, U, and I are all very similar. For example, here we read MU in the word offerimus. Another problematic aspect is the use of ligatures. Ligatures make the letters change shape depending on which other letter they are attached to. For example, this is a simple R. However, if the R is next to a I, like here, the two letters change shape completely. Probably the most interesting ligature is the one we observe when E and T are together, as in the word et, which in Latin means and. As you can see here, the letters E and T together form a familiar shape. The shape is the same as the modern-day ampersand. So maybe you didn't know this, but when you today write an ampersand, which is short for and, what you are doing is actually using a medieval shortening for et, which meant exactly and. The text is even more complicated when it comes to abbreviation or contractions. For example, this group of letters reads DNE, which is a contraction for Domine, which means Lord. And we know it is a contraction because of the horizontal stroke placed on the letter N. Or this other word, which reads Scotul, but because of the horizontal stroke, we are made aware it is a contraction for Sanctorum, which means of the saints. This simple letter P here is an abbreviation for an entire sentence, per Christum Dominum Nostrum, which means for Christ our Lord. The scribe has even made a spelling mistake in this name here, where in place of the name of the saint Eleutheri, they wrote Euletheri. Finally, the paragraph layout of the text is also problematic. Here, the scribe has gone out of their way not to leave any blank space at the end of the lines. So the last two words of the second line actually fit in the third line as shown by this blue line. And we know this only by the red text formula placed towards the end of the third line, which reads sec, for secretum. So, if you wish to read the medieval manuscripts, knowledge of Latin is not enough. Writing style, ligatures, abbreviation, spelling differences, paragraph layout, these are all studied by a discipline called paleography. Today, this splendid example of a missal in a Beneventana bookhand can be admired at the Newberry Library in Chicago, USA. Thank you for listening to Read Ancient Languages. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates.